I'd like to start with Ed Snowden.
Snowden took 3 separate tests and his IQ level was never below 154. As always, as our tradition, welcome back to Israel as You, and here we go, it's Jason Trustatham and Victor, not Trustatham, it's just the Victor Terrace. And today we're going to talk about two unique people. Actually, it's come up during the conversation between Jason and I, and we realized Jason has his opinion, and it's a very strong opinion, and I have my opinion, which is strong. Sometimes they are same, sometimes they're different. So we didn't rehearse. So that's gonna be pretty much you guys gonna hear the opinion on the situation with these two people, two different views. I mean, my post-Soviet Union and Jason, go America.
I thought it would be an interesting conversation, Victor. We always have.
And who is going to talk today about?
Well, I'd like to start with Ed Snowden. He's right. It's very much its own environment, milieu, right? And for this guy to have it set. He is the man when it comes to some of the stuff that the CIA, all the three-letter, he was like set, right? For this guy to be like, this bothers me.
Well, why do you think he did what he did? I mean, as far as I know, that Snowden, he came from very interesting family. I mean,
they were part
Navy.
of, yeah, they were.
I think they're Navy, or his grandfather or somebody was.
Oh, definitely
Admiral.
DC.
Yes.
Georgetown.
So well-educated.
In that, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we're talking about well-educated. Came from the family of true patriots of the United States. I mean, half of his family was attached to the army. He was working for CIA. He was a chief. He was a main programmer for certain programs.
Well, he was with a defense contractor.
Yes, defense contractor.
Yeah. Or a couple of them, I believe.
And
at certain points in his career.
Why he would decide to leak this information?
Dude, I mean, he was in Hawaii. He's chilling. He's got his girl. He's like, like a whiz kid with the computers. For him to be like, something about this bugs me, and to literally sacrifice it all in order to inform the American public.
He did.
Traitor or patriot?
Well, in that case, let me bring you another person. Since we're talking about Snowden, it's a very, from one point of view, it's a very similar situation. Let's take Assange. Was born in Australia. During his childhood, I think he changed around 30 cities. His last name, it's not even his father's last name because his father left before he was even born. So that's his second step. That first stepdad, and that was probably multiple stepdads. So two totally different, places where they were born and the way how they grow up. Mm-hmm. One highly educated person. Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm not sure if you know or not, but Snowden took 3 separate tests and his IQ level was never below 154.
Well,
I can't really say this about Assange, I'm sorry. Maybe I never found the information.
But it's a lot. So it's a lot easier to see the motive in Assange, right? Like that's just.
I call this
he's a hacker. He cracked open and found some data that makes your head spin. Right.
Yes, but first of all,
but he was just a hacker to begin with, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a hacker.
Yeah, he's just a hacker.
He was a hacker, and it was 2 more guys. They got convinced. They get away with the small fine. because they have no priors. But I don't believe he was a true hacker. He was, wannabe. In my opinion, Assange was nothing but.
Or was I don't know. And I haven't.
And
I guess
that information
I don't want to appear
Wiki
uninformed because I haven't looked into the WikiLeaks thing.
Yes, but WikiLeaks, he did not acquire this information firsthand. He's got this information handed to him. When Snowden has got this information firsthand. He's got access to it. And Assange, he was, back then they called him a reporter, if you can call the people like him reporters.
Alright.
Well, but they both did terrible things. They leaked highly confidential information, which put in jeopardy the security of our country. They caused a lot of political problems in the world, both of them. One right now is in England in jail, which is Assange. Second, he's got his citizenship in Russia.
Yeah.
So one, he doesn't want to go back to Australia or United States because
he's looking at jail.
Yes, but Snowden, he wants to come back. He hates in Russia. I can tell you he hates in Russia. I came from Russia. Believe me, Snowden is not a guy who wants to live in Russia. And yeah, government probably did everything to make sure he's happy. But he's American and he's patriot. In my opinion, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Snowden is 100% patriot.
Yeah, I would.
Even knowing the fact he did what he did.
Yeah, well.
He did for reason not to have PR or any benefits. It was no benefits for him whatsoever. He doesn't want to be a public figure.
No.
He was making good money. He was defense contractor.
Right. Yeah.
And it's
I don't
not
think he
his
did
blood.
it for the money. I don't
Assange did because he wants to go public.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's saying it's because it's bad. Yes. I mean, wherever they leak information, I'm not saying government did the right thing by implementing the programs which got leaked to the public. I mean, but that's a for different conversation.
And here's the thing, Victor. And it really boils down to privacy, right? That's the issue.
What privacy?
Exactly.
What privacy?
Exactly.
Like, we're talking to you guys, our viewers. Do you truly believe we have a minimum amount of privacy? I don't believe it anymore. Like, I'm in my house, and I knew for a fact, and I know for a fact, but people who need to know what I'm doing any particular moment of my life, they know that stuff.
You think so?
Yeah. Call me crazy.
So
with the old technology and everything else.
So you think that they have some type of record?
Well, they're not necessarily listening our records, but if
they're not listening actively, but they can go back and say, now let's say something happens that triggers.
Okay. Let's put it. They're saying it's a marketing programs. Right now, in front of us, you have one phone.
Oh, you mean the phones? The phone's listening to us?
Second
well, it's a
phone.
good thing because we've got the
portal.
camera rolling.
Yes, portal, which is the Facebook device, right?
Oh, sure.
And they're not. They're pretty much. It's a programs which they're listening what you're saying, and that's how they bring the commercials and advertising to your phone. When you open up the Facebook, literally, I mean, did you ever saw like if you talk about certain product? Next day, you're gonna go to the Facebook and you start seeing the commercials.
I had something even stranger happen. So I was at the airport, and I went into one of the newsstands, and I paid cash for an Economist, the magazine, and something else I can't remember. And I paid cash for it. Right?
Which is unusual. For these times.
Well, and this was 5-6 years ago, but what blew my mind was that no less than a couple hours later, I'm getting off of the plane, and I'm checking my Facebook, and I get an ad for subscription to The Economist. I'm like, I paid cash. That's the justification.
Yeah. You can say that stuff.
Under the auspices of national security. The NSA and the CIA, they have charters, right? And the CIA is not supposed to surveil American citizens.
Or they're not supposed to.
They're not about American soil per se. Like they
Well,
obviously operate on American
Are
soil.
they?
Well, that's not their charter. The way that long story short, I think that there's very different motives in why they went and released the information to the public.
Absolutely. That's 100% agree. 100% agree.
Very different motives.
Very different motives. Even when, and yes, and the same talking, yeah, they both did, illegal things, but I put the second vote with you.
I think they should take Snowden and put him on some type of ethics oversight committee where, he gets to lead how our government, as American citizens, it's our government.
Yes. He was protecting our government in reality.
The reality of it, as an American citizen, I'm greatly concerned because it's an abuse of power.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what you continue to see, these abuses of power, where if you have a guy like Snowden who's going to toe the line and tell you, no, that's illegal, until you have some type of, burden of proof, you're not allowed to do that to an American citizen, right? Like,
absolutely.
Right? Like you would need warrants for wiretap. I mean, there's all sorts of this stuff, right? Like this is part of it. And right now, certain level clearances, you can just.
You can do whatever you want to do. You can actually use your private server for highly classified emails. I mean, we know that stuff. And nothing gonna happen to you. As long as, you have a right last name.
Your political career might be, sidelined a little bit, but...
Not really. I mean, you still can be, trying to be elected as a president. It was instantaneous. I mean, I didn't come up with that. I mean, it was...
Well, so let's talk about... We're talking a little bit political here, I suppose.
I mean, it's gonna get any more political once you drop the name of Snowden and Assange.
And Assange, yeah. Well, I suppose.
So it is political.
Yeah, no,
Just a different type of political.
I'm just annoyed. That's what I am. There's really nothing about me that, I'm sure you can make me look like a creep, like when I'm wanking one off or whatever, but you can make anyone look like a creep, right? Like, that's just that's why you do it in private. Well, unless, people want to see you, and then you go on to websites. And when they pay, then it's like, there's that thing.
Yes.
Long story, I'm just annoyed because I don't remember opting in. And I'm so tired of it that it's like I have to opt out for something that I didn't opt in for. And it's been going on for 30 years and something needs to stop it.
Did you check
It's
mail?
so annoying.
Did you check mail? Maybe you just missed the invitation. No? Maybe it was certified mail, and you just refused it because you thought it's some kind of a course.
If I fill out one of those long forms, can I never have to opt out again? Will it just opt me out? Just opt me out. Just assume out.
Well,
can we go back to that? That was cool. That was the 90s.
Yes,
it was nice. Marketing.
Yes.
Keep eating dinner.
Not anymore.
No.
Not anymore, because they keep gonna send you emails and text and all this stuff. And your warranty is about to expire according to our records.
Gosh. I want to send them my phone bill. I want to be like, you're the reason, I want to be like, you're, my kids text, you're the only one that calls me. You're literally the only number that comes on my phone every day.
So, our dear viewers, today we're talking about two individuals, Snowden and Assange, and you heard our opinions, our views, and yes, and probably some of you guys will unsubscribe from our channel. Some of you guys will subscribe to our channel. As real as you is Snowden is hero, Assange is suck. Snowden is hero, Assange bad. Well, thank you for watching us. Please put your comments.
Please
give us our views on that matter, or give us ideas of what you want us to talk next, or who do you want us to talk next. Nice to see you again, and see you next time.